I call upon the spirit of the owl, messenger of wisdom. Welcome to the temple of the owl. Merry meet. I'm your Seekers of Knowledge. I'm your host, Matt's Owl. I hope everyone's having a wonderful day out there. Sending you guys some love, some positive vibes your way if you need them. Here at the Temple of the Owl, located deep in the forests of Northern California. In this episode, we will discuss the Chartge of the Goddess and some other poems. This is where we talk about spirituality and magic on all levels, but it's through the perspective of a modern witch. As always, these are just ideas to help you live a magic life and think about things differently. Take the information and do what you want. Enter the gates and let's explore my massive library. Preserving knowledge is my first priority, and I want to share it with you. I learned that there is more to this world than what we could see, and I was driven to find as much information about the unseen that I could. Let's talk about ancient magic, mythology, and ancient wisdom together. Thank you guys for listening, and check out templeoftheowl.com. Special thank you to those listening on the Troubled Minds Radio Network, KUAP, Digital Broadcasting. Alright, thank you guys for listening out there. Like and share and all that stuff. Well, I usually start the show with what I call the MOD, or the message of the day, and it's a quote I find that helps me explain the show topic. And since today we're talking about the Chartge of the Goddess, I took a quote from that. And today's quote is, "Let my worship be within the heart that rejoices, for behold, all acts of love and pleasure are my rituals. Therefore let there be beauty and strength, power and compassion, honor and humility, mirth and reverence within you." And this poem inspires me every time I read it, and I strive to keep its promise. Now, the Chartge of the Goddess is one of the most beloved and influential pieces of modern pagan literature. Many Wiccans and witches, it is not simply a poem. It's a spiritual invitation to seek wisdom, honor nature, and recognize the divine within ourselves and with the world around us. The Chartge of the Goddess is a ritual text traditionally spoken during Wiccan ceremonies, often by a high priestess who symbolically speaks as the goddess. Rather than being a prayer to the goddess, it is presented as the goddess speaking directly to her followers. The version most people know today was written by Doreen Valiente in the 1950s. She adapted and expanded earlier material associated with Gerald Gardner, and we talked about him before. She was drawing inspiration from older sources, including work from Charles Godfrey Leland. So now, I will recite The Chartge of the Goddess by Doreen Valiente. Whenever you have need of anything, once a month, and better when the moon is full, then shall ye assemble in a secret place, and adore the spirit of me, who am queen of all witches. There you shall assemble, you shall feign and learn all sorcery, yet have not won its deepest secrets. To these I will teach the things that are yet unknown, and you shall be free from slavery. And as a sign that you are really free, you shall be naked in your rights. You shall dance, sing, feast, make music, and love, all in my praise. For mine is the ecstasy of the spirit, and mine also is the joy on earth. For my law is love unto all beings. Keep pure your highest ideal. Strive ever towards it. Let not stop you on turn you aside. For mine is the secret door which opens upon the land of youth, and mine is the cup of the wine of life, the cauldron of Caridin, which is the holy grail of immortality. I am a gracious goddess, who gives the light of joy to the heart of man. Upon earth I give knowledge of the Spirit eternal, and beyond death I give peace and freedom, the reunion with those who have gone before. Nor do I demand a sacrifice, for behold, I am the mother of all living, and my love is poured out upon the earth. Hear ye the words of the star goddess. She is the dust of whose feet are the hosts of heaven, and whose body encircles the universe. I am the beauty on the green earth, and the white moon among the stars, the mystery of the waters. And I desire of the heart of man, call unto thy soul, arise and come unto me. For I am the soul of nature, who gives life to the universe. From me all things proceed, and all unto me all things must return. And before my face, beloved of gods and of men, let thine innermost divine self be enfolded in the rapture of the infinite. Let my worship be at the heart that rejoices. For behold, all acts of love and pleasure are my rituals. And therefore, let there be beauty and strength, power and compassion, honor and humility, mirth and reverence within you. And you, who think to seek for me, know thy seeking and yearning shall avail you not, unless you know the mystery. That which is what you seek, you will not find within thee. You will never find it without thee. For behold, I have been with thee from the beginning, and I am that which is attained at the end of desire. I really like that poem. At its heart, it teaches us several enduring ideas. One is the divine present everywhere. One of the central themes is that the goddess is not confined to a single temple or a sacred place. The divine is found in nature, the moon, and the earth, love and joy, and human relationships. It reflects a worldview in which the sacred is woven into everyday existence. The Chartge encourages practitioners to seek direct spiritual experience rather than relying solely on authority or doctrine. Many witches view this as one of the defining characteristics of modern witchcraft. Spiritual growth comes from personal practice, observation, ritual, and reflection. It gives us freedom and responsibility. The text celebrates freedom of thought and spiritual exploration while encouraging practitioners to live with compassion, wisdom, and respect for others. Rather than emphasizing fear or punishment, it focuses on personal responsibility and ethical living. The goddess is portrayed as nurturing, but also powerful. She represents birth, death, and renewal, mystery, wisdom, and magic. The changing seasons and the moon cycles. This reflects many ancient goddess traditions in which creation and transformation are inseparable. Now, why does it matter to witches today? Most witchcraft is incredibly diverse, and many practitioners appreciate the Chartge, but it reminds them to honor nature, celebrate the changing seasons, and trust their intuition. Continue learning throughout life, find the sacred in the ordinary moments, and build a personal relationship for the divine. Even witches who are not Wiccan often admire the Chartge for its poetic language and its emphasis on the reverence for nature and personal spiritual experience. The Chartge has influenced many branches of contemporary paganism, including eclectic witchcraft, which is what I practice, and goddess spirituality, feminist spirituality, In some forms of druid-based nature, spiritual practices. Its themes have inspired countless rituals, meditations, books, and ceremonies over the past several decades. It's a living tradition. Many covens continue to recite the charge during rituals, particularly during the full moon ceremonies or initiations. Others write down their own versions and reflect their traditions or personal beliefs. This adaptability reflects one of the strengths of modern witchcraft. While honoring the tradition, the practitioners can create living practices that evolve with their communities. The Charge of the Goddess reminds us that witchcraft is more than just spells or ritual tools. It's a path of relationship with the earth, the moon, the seasons, and our ancestors, and ourselves. Whether we hear the goddess as a literal divine presence or as a symbol of nature's wisdom, the invitation is the same: to seek knowledge, live with reverence, and remember that the sacred can be found all around us and within us. The idea captures why the Charge of the Goddess continues to resonate with many modern witches. It offers a vision of spirituality rooted in nature, personal experience, and the ongoing search for wisdom. Now, my favorite part is the part that says, "May all acts of love and pleasure are my rituals." And I like that because you can feel like certain parts of your life where you have so much love and you can feel, and that's the magic. And up next, we're going to talk about another important poem about witchcraft, and that is the Wiccan Rede. I'm going to recite the Wiccan Rede. Here we go. Bide within the law you must, in perfect love and perfect trust. Live you must, and let live, fairly take and fairly give. For tread the cycle thrice, about to keep unwelcome spirits out. To bind the spell well every time, let the spell be said in rhyme. Light of eye and soft of touch, speak you little, listen much. Honor the old ones in deed and name. Let love and light be your guides again. Do also go by the waxing moon, chanting out a joyful tune. Wintershins go when the moon doth wane, and the werewolf howls by the dread wolf's bane. When the lady's moon is new, kiss the hand to her times two. When the moon rides at her peak, then your heart's desire seek. Heed the north wind's mighty gale, lock the door and trim the sail. When the wind blows from the east, expect the new and set the feast. When the wind comes from the south, love will kiss you on the mouth. When the wind whispers from the west, all hearts find peace and rest. 9 woods in the cauldron go, burn them fast and burn them slow. Birch goes in the fire to represent what the lady knows. Oak in the forest towers with might. In the fire it brings the gods' insight. Rowan is a tree of power, causing life and magic to flower. Willows at the waterside stand ready to help us in the summerland. Hawthorn is burned to purify and draw fairy to your eye. Hazel, the tree of wisdom and learning, adds its strength to the fire burning. White are the flowers of apple tree that brings us fruits of fertility. Grapes grow on the vine, giving us both joy and wine. Fir does mark the evergreen to represent immortality seen. Elder is the lady's tree, burn it not, or cursed you'll be. 4 times the major Sabbats, mark in the light and in the dark. As the year starts to wane, the new begins. It is now Samhain. When the time for Imbolc shows, watch for flower through the snows. When the wheel begins to turn, soon the Beltane fires will burn. As the wheel turns to Lammas, night power is brought to magic rite. 4 times the minor Sabbats fall, use the sun to mark them all. When the wheel has turned to Yule, light the log, the horned one rules. In the spring, when night equals day, time for Ostara to start our way. When the sun has reached its height, time for oak and holly to fight. Harvesting comes to one and all when the autumn equinox does fall. Heed the flower, bush, and tree. By the lady, blessed you'll be. Where the rippling waters go cast a stone, the truth you'll know. When you have a hold, a need, hearken not what others greed. With a fool no season spend, or be continued as his friend. Merry meet and merry part, bright the cheeks and warm the heart. Mind the 3-fold laws you should, 3 times bad and 3 times good. When misfortune is anew, wear the star upon your brow. Be true in love, this you must, unless your love is false to you. These 8 words the Wiccan Rede fulfill, and harm none, do what ye will. Now, that's one of the most influential but also misunderstood teachings in modern witchcraft. When people first begin studying witchcraft, one of the first sayings they encounter is, harm none, do what you will. This phrase is known as the Wiccan Rede, and although it contains only a handful of words, it has inspired decades of discussion about ethics and responsibility. What it truly means. Well, what does it mean, and where does it come from? The word rede is an Old English word meaning advice, counsel, or guidance. But notice what it does not mean. It doesn't mean law. It doesn't mean commandment. It doesn't mean absolute rule. This is important because, unlike other many religions, the present divine commandments, the Wiccan Rede is generally understood as ethnical guidance. It's a principle to reflect upon rather than a universal legal code. Harm none, do what you will. And my way of thinking about it is, so if I walk through a field, the odds are I'm probably going to step on a bug. But I'm not walking through the field looking for bugs to step on. I'm simply passing through. And that's kind of the way I think about it when it says harm none. It also talks about the threefold law, which is important. We also discuss it, sometimes called the law of 3. It teaches us that whatever energy we send out into the world returns to us threefold. Now, some people interpret it literally, but others see it as symbolic. If we fill our lives with compassion, generosity, and wisdom, we can create healthier relationships. If we act out with cruelty, dishonesty, or malice, those choices can have lasting consequences. Does every witch follow the Rede? No. One of the biggest misconceptions about witchcraft. The Wiccan Rede primarily belongs to Wicca, a modern pagan religion that emerged in the mid-20th century. Let's see. It's talking about, can I protect myself? Can I set healthy boundaries? Can I perform a spell for the truth to come to light? Can I seek healing instead of retaliation? The Rede doesn't always tell you exactly what to do. It asks you to think deeply about your choices and your consequences. Many witches practice the Rede outside of the ritual as well. It can influence how we treat animals, care for the earth, and speak to others. How we can handle conflict and respect different beliefs, care for ourselves. Ethics isn't just about magic. It's about how we live every day. And like I said, for me, it's not a phase, it's a way of life. Perhaps the greatest lesson of the Wiccan Rede is mindfulness. It reminds us that power without wisdom can become dangerous, and knowledge without compassion can become pride. Magic without ethics can lose its purpose. Whether you follow it literally, symbolically, or simply appreciate its philosophy, it asks us each an important question before we act. What kind of world am I helping to create? And that question may be one of the most magical lessons of all. And I like that. Also talks about the different kinds of woods to burn around the fire, and how each herb is medicine, and how each tree can help us in our use our magic and the correspondences to what trees they're burning. And also there's a lot of stuff in there about the sabbats, the circle, the wheel of the wheel that we talk about, all the different sabbats, Beltane and Samhain and all those. So it has all that information in there, and I really like that. Well, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you guys like this kind of stuff? I think it's interesting to learn this kind of stuff because it's kind of a 101. It's kind of stuff that we should be talking about, just our ethics and how we live our lives. I think it's important. Well, what do you guys know? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Keep doing shows like this. Every Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard, we're coming out with new episodes. Well, I thank you guys for listening. So, my name is Matt Owl. I release the Spirit of the Owl here at the Temple of the Owl. Check out templeoftheowl.com and the Troubled Minds Radio Network, KUAP Digital Broadcasting. Until next time, thank you guys. Blessed be.
For many centuries, witchcraft has been considered evil, associated with the devil and all things dark. Let's break these stereotypes with your host, Matt Owl, of the Temple of the Owl. Let's talk about magic, of the old ways to explore the many roles of the witch, learn the tools of the craft, the history of the science behind